Now we are. Now we are.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I feel like it's in the last 4
Oh.
hours since I've seen you, I've really changed my appearance quite a bit.
I don't know who you are anymore.
Well, I just really 6 p.m. me and 10 p.m. me look a lot different, I guess.
Normally we do the show at 1 a.m. We were really going to push it to then to see what it looks like, but no, we're good.
No, okay, great. Okay, yeah.
Anywho, it's tonight's late night happy hour. Brian Kamenetzky, Andy Kamenetzky, joined tonight by comedian and writer Megan Gailey. She is the host of the Megan Gailey Bubble Machine, and her Comedy Central show appears on the 14th, correct, Megan? It is going on Comedy Central.
My half hour is being released from the vault and the Viacom vault and put on YouTube in its entirety.
What's it called?
It's just Megan. It's just Comedy Central presents Megan Gailey.
You just couldn't come up with a title, or
how many different focus groups did it take to come up with that?
Well, because it's not a show; it's just a stand-up special.
Okay,
so it's just whatever your name is. So I think they focus grouped it maybe in like 1998, and then they just stuck with it. Actually, now it's funny because it was Comedy Central Presents, and now I think it's called The Half Hour. I don't know. They did change it.
But the point is, on December 14th, you can watch it.
Yes.
God damn it. That's what people ought to do.
Got a great idea. Megan Gailey, no fucks. Damn it. Damn it, man.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if the cursing is in there.
There's a question right off the bat. I don't even know what it means, but
boy.
I'm going to throw it up. Why is Megan Gailey drinking from a cup she stole from Pizza Hut in the 90s?
I always forget.
We have a very, very perceptive audience. You should know.
Wow, I didn't even notice.
Well, you can just buy these off of Amazon or probably from a local retailer. I know we're trying to do that, but Amazon too. And I forget that people can see our glassware, and my husband and I have like 30 what your audience is calling.
But that is a serious Pizza Hut cup.
Like, that is a legitimate pizzeria.
I actually, that just brought me back because one summer in high school, I worked at a Pizza Hut, and those were all the glasses.
And you guys joking.
Oh, God, I don't remember. I mean, unfortunately, high school was a while ago. But I don't remember if we did. I know that I was in back. I made a lot of pizzas and I delivered them. Like that sort of thing. I don't remember if we had a buffet or not. I do remember though we had those those dishes that you made the pies in. Like it was the first time I'd ever had like one of those sort of like deeper dish you construct it in there type things. But those glasses, wow, that's a flashback.
I think we can all agree too. Pizza Hut's disgusting, right?
Unless they want to sponsor us, Brian.
Right.
In which case they're fantastic.
I'm guessing when Andy worked there, it was delicious because at some point it was so delicious and their buffet was so good. We would read a book. If you read one book, you got a free like little pizza. That's how much they need children in Indiana to read.
Well, okay. For a second, I thought you meant if you walked into Pizza Hut reading, they gave you a pizza.
Right. No. It was just called like Book It. And if you read, I mean, some kids were really picking like 40-page books and then they get pizza.
Wow.
And it was delicious, but it's changed. It's not as good.
Well, where do you guys put, because like Domino's, one of my favorite like ad campaigns of the last 20 years was when Domino's basically was like, yeah, our pizza sucked for a really long time and we're sorry and we're going to make it better. And now it's not bad. Like when we don't feel like splurging, we bring Domino's home for the kids, and they're cool with it. I can eat a slice or two, and it's fine. Where does Pizza Hut rank in like the easily consumed giant fast food chains, though?
I think in its legend, it ranks better than in its like execution right now. Does that make like, yeah, just even seeing the architecture and like, yes, this cup and oh my gosh, when they came out, they like the innovators too. They were first like stuffed crust. So they did so much.
That's true.
They belong in the Hall of Fame, but they're struggling right now.
That stuffed crust was like that was a mind-blowing innovation in pizza. I'm not sure it's necessary, but it was definitely mind-blowing.
and there's people that only have that. Well, I mean, I know one person, but there are people, and you're like,
Ooh.
what do you like?
Many people are saying that people are eating the stuffed crust pizza. Many,
The
so
finest
true.
people, the best people are only eating stuffed crust pizza.
Oh wow! As far as the hierarchy goes, in terms of the chains, I agree with Brian. I actually think Domino's has really stepped it up. I would personally, and this is just personally, and it's all fluid. And again, unlike Brian, who's already screwing this up for us, all of these pizzas are top notch. If they want to be a sponsor of this show, they're all terrific.
Oh, I'll flip flop in a heartbeat. Don't worry.
I would put Pizza Hut ahead of Papa John's.
I would too.
That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's better. I would put all three ahead of Little Caesars the last time I had it.
When was the last time you had Little Caesars?
Oh, it's been a good 15 years.
And I don't mean that to say that Pizza Hut is better than Little Caesars. I'm saying I have no context to say Little Caesars. Little Caesars might be the single greatest pizza that America has to offer, and I have no idea because it's been that long.
Well, I've had it recently, and I can attest to them doing fine work.
Really?
The crazy bread is, I was truly talking about this with my husband right before I came in here. The crazy bread is excellent. It's so good. And then Papa John's, I think their pizza's bad, but they invented the garlic sauce. So they were like the first ones to include it. And now everyone includes it. And you're like, we don't need everything else you have. I can get garlic sauce from Domino's.
And in other news, the Megan Gailey Bubble Machine is looking for a pizza sponsor. So, do you? The other thing that reminded me of, because when the guy said that it was like a Pizza Hut, I thought it was from that era where you used to get souvenir mugs or glasses, like, you know, with your Happy Meals and stuff. I don't know if you are quite as old as we are, Megan, but that was like a big deal. The collectible glass era. I totally missed that. There's no question in there. I just wanted to get that off my chest.
I mean, I love any sort of cup. Any cup that they're.
I love that as just an open-ended statement. I just love cups.
Well, I have like a US Open cup I'm thinking of that's near and dear. I don't know. I also think people saw me with this cup, and then people have started sending me cups, and so I've taken on a cup persona.
I guess of all the things people could send you, there are worse.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of romanticize the days. First of all, I don't know a lot of people who are anti-cup, but that's a separate question. But I just romanticize the days when like people would give you glass in the drive-thru, like that was considered okay.
Oh, I don't recall that. I think that was
like glasses. That's what that was. The souvenir cups. You go through the drive-thru, you get the collectible glasses, and you go home with glassware.
Wow.
Well, I mean,
you were born at the wrong time, Megan.
It's not as crazy as, I mean, this predates really even, you know, Brian and I, but I know that it existed. Like the idea that shampoo bottles used to be glass. Like let's take a glass item and put it in the absolute slipperiest area possible and fill it up with an even slipperier
with soap,
with the slippery soap, and go. Like that's insane that they used to do that. I mean, they had plastic then; it existed.
No, I think it was like like they thought it was classy. I mean, my version of this is like imagining people used to dress up to go on airplanes.
Yes.
Is like, because like, you know, I definitely saw my grandmother have like a hat box, and she just had like looks, and I like to think of myself as an overdresser, and when I'm flying, it's shocking how terrible I look.
It's too much work to even wear like the juicy sweatpants at this point. Like
I'm almost like I'm trying to dress so poorly that people are like, she must be someone. Like it just.
Oh, that's a good way of doing it, though. That's a really good way of getting attention. Like she clearly must be trying to downplay who she is and just, you know, blend in with everyone. She must be important.
Sunglasses.
That's a really good
now
plan.
you have a mask. I mean, no one will be. I'm not flying right now, but I'm sure the next time I do, I'll still be in a mask and sunglasses. I mean, you're no one. You're the invisible woman.
It's going to be actually really interesting for people like me and Brian. And it sounds like from what you just said yourself, like that point where you start feeling comfortable around people without the mask, like without actually wearing one, even as
I actually have never been comfortable around people that don't wear masks.
I used to be so afraid of the masks. Like I was like, is it for, I mean, 10 years ago when you would see people, I remember photographing someone at a Yankees game because they had a Yankees mask on. And I was like, what are they doing here? Like, I never understood if it was for us or for them. And now it's so obviously so normal to me to see them.
You know what? I was at Rite Aid like a few weeks ago, and this woman walked in as I was in line, and I just noticed her and was like, oh, she's pretty. Like, I'm making eye contact with her. And all of a sudden it dawned on me like, holy shit, the reason you think she's attractive is she's not wearing a mask. The hell is she doing in this Rite Aid not wearing a mask?
With her.
And like she went past me before I could really even verbalize this. And then, of course, because I fear getting close to her, and I was next in line, and they called me up. I didn't do the right thing and like accost her and make her leave or anything like that. But it really
get all up in her grill.
No, I actually I saved myself and I bought my thing and I left. But like it really, Megan, like it's weird now to see. Like it dawned on me, it's weird now to see people not in a mask.
Yeah. Yeah, especially a stranger. It's like too exposed. You're like, why do I see your chin? It's so, I mean, I honestly so I got married a year ago, and I feel like I missed out on like this being all I needed to like show people out in the world. I think this is like my best. And I'm like, I had to find love like this when I could have been finding love like this. And that would have been a lot easier for me, I think.
I mean, are you concerned that maybe you could have gone down a better road? Like you
only love me for my chin.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe that's what I'm saying is that I think if half my face would have been hidden, maybe my husband would be different.
The pandemic has really made me realize I made a mistake.
This is an interesting question. Another one. Are any of you the type who claps when the plane lands? No. I mean, no. I feel like that's expected.
I'm also like a super friendly person. Like I will talk to people on the street. I'm a good morning. I'm like Midwestern through and through. I do not want to talk to anyone on a plane. If I'm drunk, I will. But these people that are just like plopping down sober, who are you going to visit? Get away from me. That is insane.
The worst are the people that do that when you have headphones in.
Yeah.
Like they actually really, really try to create a conversation with you. It's like, dude, I have these in for a reason. It's to keep you away.
Do you ever feel, sometimes I feel saddest for those people because I'm like, wow, they really need this. Like it's like you're willing to go through headphones. Like you are in need.
No, I feel saddest for me. Yeah,
okay.
when it's happening.
I don't even always turn that. I mean, I don't even always have music or sound coming through the headphones. The headphones are just there as they are the internationally understood,
but they're not
symbol of, they should be. I mean, by most people of, this person isn't interested in talking. Mm-hmm. Like everybody gets that signal. Mm-hmm. Or you ask the one question and then you put the headphone, and it's like, okay, we've made small talk and now we move on. But there are people who violate that. There's no question.
I had someone fake phone me recently, and I knew because that's a move. I was like, and then they just gave up. Then they were like, I gotta call you back.
You stuck it out. You're like, no, I know you're not really having a conversation.
I do that with, and he's a very, very nice guy, but I have a neighbor who's very, very chatty. And I'm always walking the dog with headphones anyway, because typically I am listening to music or a podcast or watching something on Netflix, but I will start a fake conversation every single time. Well,
this was my neighbor fake phoning it to me, but he just was parked in front of my driveway and he didn't want to move it.
Wait a minute. That's not fake phoning. That's like, you should be actually phoning like the DMV.
I wasn't anybody. I was going, like I was trying to get
I see.
be like, no. and he was like pretending to be on the phone, so I couldn't tell him he couldn't park in front of my driveway. I hope he doesn't watch the show.
Oh, I hope he does. He should get out of your driveway.
Get out of your fucking driveway. Don't do that.
I let him know. I told him, I go, listen, just because you're my neighbor, if this was anyone else, I would have their car towed. So it was.
No, I don't think that's bad at all. I mean, look,
he does it all the time too. And I'm talking like this month, like to a point where like I have like, I'm having to hit things to get around his car to get into my driveway.
You're off-roading essentially to get into your own place.
That's not right. That shouldn't happen. All right. So we got a lot of stuff that we want to cover tonight. We have, Andy has a game set up based around the newest Mario Lopez joint, which is spectacular. If you haven't seen the trailer yet for A Recipe for Seduction, stay tuned for that. We've got that trailer plus a game built around it that we want to talk about. Potential for talking about sushi modeling. There's a potential for talking about breakdancing, which is officially an Olympic sport for 2024. I have some thoughts about that. But Megan, you host the Megan Gailey Bubble Machine, which is built around the bubble, which is an NBA thing, because you are an NBA fan.
I am.
Big news out of the NBA today, of course, is the James Harden stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know where you fall on like Houston Rockets love, Russ versus James, whatever it might be. This is one of the most fun stories the NBA has produced in a long time.
Maybe since Lou Williams, yeah.
It's basically Lou Williams, but with more hostility. Like, you know, like Lou Williams wasn't expecting anybody to learn about this. Just unfortunately that whatever the hell that rapper's name is that I had never heard of until this thing happened.
Harlow?
Yes.
That was Jack. You're right. Jack Harlow was this one. And then who was the one where whose party was James Harden?
Lil
James
Baby.
Harden. I don't know who that is either.
I don't know who that is either.
Every time this happens, I learn how little I know about modern hip hop.
Yeah. Because you're like, not only could I not be invited, I didn't even know these people existed.
Yes.
I have never heard of Lil Baby. Like,
I've heard of Lil Baby. Yeah.
I never heard of him.
Have you really?
Yes.
Or were you just saying that to make Andy sound unhip?
No. I've heard of Lil Baby because it's so funny that it definitely stuck in my brain that someone's name is Lil Baby.
Well, I had no clue who he was, but like this is basically the hostile version of what Lou Williams. Lou Williams was he just wanted some wings and a lap dance and hoped nobody found out about it, and he would go back to the bubble with nobody the wiser. Like this is James Harden just being like, seriously, trade me. I dare you to do something about this other than trading me.
I like it. On his side. I mean, we do know he loves strip clubs, but then I don't know if you saw his mom responded to someone, and it is the most like it's almost how you disengage a troll. Like, and I don't even know if this person was a troll. I think they were just commenting things that lots of people would comment, like, how could he do this? Why is he doing, there's so many layers to it. There's COVID to it. There's all of this stuff. And the mom made so many good points of like, he leaves it all out there. No one gives more. He's worked really hard to be in this position, and let him make his own decisions. And then she said, like, be well, son. Like, I was just like, oh my God, if your mom is on your side and you're skipping work to go to strip clubs, I think you're in the right.
Or maybe a very tolerant mother that might explain why you're skipping work to go to strip clubs.
I think she knows how much her son has sacrificed. We're not, sacrifice. Okay, we'll say that.
I mean, look, James Harden has obviously worked hard he's worked hard on his craft. He's become, one of the best scorers in modern NBA history. He is offensively a pretty potent weapon, all of that. I'm going to hold off a little bit on playing the sacrifice card when he's basically partying all weekend while his teammates are the ones actually practicing right now.
Well, when I say sacrifice, I'm alluding to like the things he did in high school and college, and prior to this, to even put himself in a position to be rich enough to not give a fuck, to be like, I will dictate the course of my career.
I just, the other thing about this, the COVID part of this is also what makes it so fascinating, because it's not like under normal circumstances, I'm not showing up to camp on time because I'm out partying and this and that. But I'm not going to be home working out. Like that's what every guy always says. Dude, I'm in shape. I'm ready to go. I'm working out. As soon as we get this ready to go, I'm good. Like, no, he's at the strip clubs and he's doing all this. It's like aggressively not ready.
I think COVID is the worst part of it for sure.
Right.
I mean, it also shows you how just really fragile, like the NBA really killed it. And so did the NHL, like props to them. And now they're going into a situation that could not be further from what was created in Orlando. And there's just, that's the part where it's like, James, you can go to the strip club. That's like, really, you're not supposed to be doing that. But can you please not film it and put it up somewhere? Or can you take everyone's phones? Like, just the blatant disregard.
Well, actually, I mean, I think that's what the difference is. Like I said, between like him and Lemon Pepper Lou. Like Lou really did not have any expectation of this coming out, although it was very clear he lost no sleep over it whatsoever.
None. But and I also think the story. I learned so much about like wing culture, Megan. Like I think he really was there for the food. Like that's.
Well, you can be at a place for two things. Like that.
Well, he's on the menu. Like he's literally, there are Lou Williams men. Like, it's like the Coming to America. He's got his own money. Like that's Lou Williams with the wings. But like James Harden, it seems like was in this party. Like, okay, somebody's filming this, right? Like seriously, like I don't want to give little baby his gift. Did you see his gift that he gave him?
No.
A little baby's a man.
Little baby's a man.
Yes, little baby is a man. That's why I remember.
He gave little baby.
Oh my God, I'm having a flow rider moment.
Yeah. Oh, explain to Megan.
As I drove, my wife has never been more ashamed. Well, that's probably not true. My wife is as ashamed of me in this moment as she has been in others. We're driving by a billboard and I see it. And I said, "Who is Florida?"
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I didn't see the hyphen.
I didn't know it was spelled Florida. I thought I'd never imagined how Flo Rida was written out.
No, it didn't occur to me.
When I saw it, I had a similar confusion.
No, it's without a hyphen, it's Florida.
Yes.
So yes. I feel like I should be. Thank you, Megan. I feel like I should be excused at least for some of that. But yeah, I did not know little baby was a thing, and then I really didn't know little baby was a man.
So James Harden gave little baby a present.
Oh, he got him a hell of a present.
What was it?
According to one report, and actually this I saw a video of it, so it seems to be verified. He got him a Prada bag because, as Lil Baby put it, he's proud of him. Exact words. I watched Lil Baby say it. Said Prada bag had $100,000 in it, a Richard Mille watch, which I guess is a big deal. I don't know who Richard
I've heard of
Mille
him,
is. And a whole bunch of honey buns. Like, the snack, there was tons and tons of like stacks of honey buns, which was estimated, according to this one piece that I read, about $300,000 worth of gifts for Lil Baby. And like,
I thought you were going to say $300,000 worth of honey buns.
James Harden for Lil Baby.
Yes, this was for Lil Baby. And it's also a message to the Rockets. Like, I can afford a lot of fines, guys. Yeah. Like, this is just for Lil Baby. This is $300,000 for Lil Baby.
Are they friends? Like, they must be.
They are now.
I'm just wondering what Lil Boss Baby did to get this, did he get a good report card? Like, I just can't even imagine what he did.
I mean, maybe they're friends. I don't know. I didn't know who this person was. I mean, that says much more about me than it does him. But I'm just saying, if you should make friends with him and pick out your own watch, Megan?
I would love to. I mean, that's what I'm like, was Lil Baby just right place, right time? I mean, here I am honoring his mother. Like, please, I would love to. I mean, I'll have a mask on. I don't know if I want to be around, the strippers I trust, actually, because they need to make money. But like the men who are unmasked at a strip club, that's not a crew that I'm here for.
Do you want one of these? Let me see if I can share my screen here. Oops, wrong button. Share screen, Chrome tab. How about this thing? You want one of these guys? Can you see that?
Oh no, I do not want that. That looks like Hunger Games. Like you live in the capital, mean lady.
Little garish.
Yeah, I
Not
don't.
quite your style. Stop me when you get to something you like. Anything?
No, I think this is kind of.
Oh,
I get why this works for a little baby, but I don't think it's worked for me.
No, it was worth a shot.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, this really, like, I do you feel like it's more generosity to little baby or a middle finger to the Rockets?
I think it's a middle finger to the Rockets. I also think like the crazier the present is, the more likely it is for him to brag about it, for it to be shown off. Like that just sort of,
well, especially if you're going out of your way to film it. Like, dude, like we need to make sure, like when you tweet this, make sure you're adding the Rockets. It feels like he's like, make sure you're adding Tillman Fertitta, the owner of the team. I want to make sure that he sees this. Wow, we got a second one of these, Megan.
I know. Yes. You got such a nice smile. It's just I ordered them not from Pizza Hut, just off the internet.
Oh, Quinn's cool. He's been in here many times. Quinn's great.
We should keep a running total of how many people point this out as they join in the chat.
I keep thinking everyone is asking, is Megan like drunk? Because it's like, is Megan drinking? And it's like, it's water, y'all. But even if it was, it's 10 p.m. on a Monday. That's prime drunk time.
And you are a grown up.
Yeah, but I'm not drunk.
I am.
I mean, it's okay.
We're not fucked, but I am not drunk.
I'm not drunk.
Not
I
yet.
will not be accused.
I am in a pajama shirt, but I chose that sober.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine.
Everybody's got to have their own individual style.
It really speaks to how badly he must want out of Houston, because it's all strip clubs there. They started a drive-through strip club for COVID that seems like it was basically created for James Harden. And now he wants to leave.
I don't think it will go out of business though. They're like, you know what? We built it for Harden, the rest came. But I mean, if he hates it that much, like truly, where does he obviously wants to go somewhere. I think PJ Tucker's trying to leave, like it's a true mass exodus.
Oh,
PJ Tucker's like been doing it the exact opposite. He's like, I show up every fucking day. Like, nobody works harder than me on and off the floor. And I'm not here for this BS. Like, I'm too old. Like, it's very much like I'm too old for this shit. It is the opposite. But yes, I think he is not. I don't think a lot of people really want to be there. I mean, Christian Wood might not even want to be there, and he just signed a deal. So I'm not sure anybody is interested in the Tillman Fertitta show at this point.
You're a big Pacers fan, and you've got a bit of that situation going right now, Megan, with Victor Oladipo. In terms of what there's a lot of conjecture about whether or not he actually wants to be a Pacer anymore.
Yeah, we've been burned before too. We've had a superstar say, "No, I want to be here," and then be gone like 2 weeks later. So we're a tortured fan base. So I understand that everyone comes to it with like true trepidation, but the stories that were coming out about Vic, like going up to people and being like, "Can I come play for you?" Or "You guys want to link up?" Like they made me feel bad for him. Like I wasn't like, what a vindictive traitor. I was like, oh my God, Vic, this is not a good
Somebody hug Victor Oladipo.
Vic, you matter, but I don't, it's so funny because like my dad will tell me the reports and he thinks they're like national reports. And I'm like, nobody cares, Dad. These are front page Indianapolis Star, but they're not making it out here in LA. But I think that Vic is going to be there and just kind of have to make the most of it because they shopped him and the price just didn't make sense. I mean, we kept seeing with the Hayward, like everybody knew their value. And I do hope that it makes Vic feel loved that they weren't willing to give him up for him. Like, I hope that does make him feel like
particularly in a Gordon Hayward trade for somebody who just seems like he was destined to play for the Indiana Pacers. For God's sake.
I listen. He wanted to come back. I mean, Harden wants to be in the strip capital like of the world. Gordon Hayward wants to be in the church and Chick-fil-A capital of the world. Like he couldn't wait to get to Indy. He was like, Phillip Rivers is there. I'm coming. This is a party now.
I was really surprised actually that Boston didn't. Oh, I guess they didn't want Miles Turner. And I was surprised.
A lot of people don't like Miles Turner though.
No, Victor Oladipo doesn't like Miles Turner. So I like him. I mean, when you see the picture of him when he used to be fat, it's like, oh my, he was a fat kid and now he's so tall and skinny. It's like, this is fun. This is fun.
In talking with you about NBA basketball, it seems like you latch on a lot more to the personalities than the actual, like the basketball. Like
I mean, I definitely love dunks and buzzer beaters and everything, but like the humanity of it. And yes, the mothers and their children and
fat Miles Turner.
Yeah, I mean the fashion. I love all of that so much. I mean, but you're not playing right now, so that's all I have.
Did you watch Vic when he was singing
on The Masked Singer season 2? I definitely caught parts of it. He actually ended up singing the song that ended up being my husband and my wedding song, and it really. We were on the fence, so we thought it was going to be our song. And then I was like, I'm like self-conscious that it's country because I don't really like country. And then when Vic sang it, I was like, this is for us. This is what we need.
What song is it?
It's Casey Musgrave's Rainbow. And Victor Oladipo.
Does Casey Musgrave know Little Baby?
I'm sure she does. I'm sure they've done a duet. But Oladipo's name on The Masked Singer was Thingamajig. And Thingamajig did a beautiful rendition of it.
Did you know? Were you able to pick out that it was Vic while he was singing?
So no, but once somebody guessed it, I think it was Dr. Ken was like, it's Vic. Whenever they guess an obscure person, I'm like, that's who it is. Because they'll be like, maybe it's Beyonce. And it's like, it's not Beyonce. Okay. It's a not that known all-star from a small market team. That's who it is.
So when you were talking people who say, I want to be a Pacer forever, and then they're gone like 2 weeks later, is that Paul George? Are we?
Yeah.
How are you bitter? Do you still like the guy? I mean, you don't get a lot of Indiana people who want to stay there. And then he left again, and he just keeps leaving. Yeah.
I mean, we did get Vic. We got stuff, so I am bitter that he left, but I am happy that he left in a way that we got nothing, because if you're just going to leave, then I think that's what he at least was like, I don't want to be here, but you can take someone else's stuff and I'll go there. Like, I think that is kind at least, but everyone in Indianapolis hates him. I'm the last Pacers fan that has any amount of.
Where do they like Paul George? And I will admit, like during the bubble, I had a moment where I felt like a total asshole because, like everybody else, you pile on a little bit, you make the jokes because, as Andy and I say, and perhaps you agree, Megan, as a comedian, funny trumps mean, often at least. And so, he's having a terrible bubble. We're all making fun of playoff P, and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm also suffering from like major bubble depression, and this is really hard. And I was like, oh God, I'm a jerk. But where do they like Paul George at this point? Because Lakers fans can't stand him. No. Pacers fans don't like him. Clippers fans really aren't very thrilled with him right now.
No, and he threw Doc under the bus, and it's like, that's not gonna get you many friends. I just, for some reason, I've carried over his bubble depression that I'm like, even if he's out of the bubble depression, I'm not for him. So I'm just like, I feel really sad still.
You really are kind of like a surrogate mother to all these different, like you're looking out for them all. Oh, Miles, you lost all the weight. You look wonderful. Paul, they say you get more, with the flies with honey, whatever the expression is.
I really wish I could get to Paul and tell him that part of it too is he has such a little baby face. He's just so like cute. But I mean, it's like Doc traded for you and you cheated on his daughter. There's got to be something good about you.
That is as tolerant maybe of off the court as I've ever seen any coach. Now that I think about it, like
it's if people are like, I don't like sports or whatever, but they love Bravo. I'm like, listen to this, and then they're like, what happened? I'm like, yeah, you don't need to watch them dribble, but you should know the players in this theater.
I feel like that was the Bravo show that was on Bravo. My wife would be watching that instead of all the other Bravo shows she watches.
Well, did you watch Basketball Wives? That was a wild one.
I didn't like that one.
No, it was created by Shaq's ex. She's like the executive producer on it.
It's because it's full of people who were. Megan, I reminisce back for the golden age of reality TV when people didn't really realize they were on TV and didn't try so hard. Like, and you get up to a point like Below Deck, they know they're on TV. You know, the Housewives show, they know that, but they kind of at least, they massage it a little bit. Mm-hmm. Basketball Wives, they almost basically just stared into the camera the whole time. It was so bad.
It may have not have been then. Maybe it was WAGs or like later seasons. Cause like all the premise of the shows I'm like very into. And then when we meet the women and they're like, I'm the ex-girlfriend of, and it's like some man on the Bucks that it's like, I don't fucking know who this is. Like, I thought we were getting all stars. Like, I don't.
It's like in TMZ, you'll sometimes read every time TMZ runs a report on an athlete, that athlete is always NBA star or NFL star, baseball star. And you look at it and like, no, not really. That guy averages 7 minutes a game. He's been on his 5th team in 4 seasons. Not a star. Right. No, he got a DUI, and I recognize why you're running this. Not a star. Like,
I was going to say like star was in there because it was like from his publicist, but he got a bad publicist.
His publicist is like, look, TMZ, if you're going to put this out, this is the phrasing we would prefer.
NBA hanger on.
Yes, but I mean, I understand what you're saying. Some of the wives or girlfriends, it's like, you better be really interesting because I did not care at all about your significant other when they played.
Like Julius Pepper's fiance, it was a girlfriend and then became a fiance. She was on it and she was like the number one because of him. And I'm like, guys, this is like, he was the biggest star. And I'm like, yes, he played a long time.
Julius Pepper's a good player, but you don't. Of
course, he's a great player. Is he an NFL superstar that I would be running to see? Probably, actually.
But you don't necessarily, you don't create, and you don't say we've got Julius Pepper's wife. Let's create a show around that. Like, that's not necessarily the foundation.
Right. Like, even Baker Mayfield's wife is just in Allstate commercials or whatever they are. Like, let's start small. And then if you've got presence, we'll work you up.
Speaking of reactions to NFL players, you had one you told us about with Dwight Freeney. You had your opportunity.
Well, he's my number one. I have a dog named after him, which is, I realize now, a weird thing to say to a person. But yeah, I saw him and I didn't know I was going to see him. So it was like a surprise. And I usually get very like scared. And I just started weeping and looked at him and go, hi. Like he was like about to walk away. And I was like, nope, come back, please.
And this was a professional setting.
Oh, correct? Yes, we were at the NFL in a hallway that you're only in if you're a talent. Like you would feel, it's where you should feel the safest if you're an NFL player. But there will be a crying white woman. Don't you worry.
Where they're just going to treat me like I'm anybody else.
In fairness, Dwight Freeney was a big goddamn deal in Indianapolis.
Oh, absolutely. He won a Super Bowl. I mean, he wasn't able to play in the Super Bowl they won, but he was instrumental in getting there.
Okay, this is an interesting question from the kid from NYC for you, Megan. Mm-hmm. Reggie Miller or Peyton Manning?
Oh my God, this is the Sophie's Choice reboot. I just can't. I would rather kill myself.
I didn't see that one coming. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, just pick one. It's not that big a deal.
I have so much love for them in like kind of different ways. I got engaged in front of the mural of Reggie that's in downtown Indy. And he was so kind and like reached out and like gave us so much love. And I've since interviewed him and he's amazing. And then I wrote on the ESPYs that Peyton hosted, and as a Colts fan, to even be able to like look at him is just, I mean, it was so much.
There's a Reggie Miller mural.
There's a Reggie Miller mural. Yeah.
Like, did it feel more?
He's still with us, isn't he? Like Reggie Miller feels like somebody you don't paint murals for while he's still living.
Indy has so few. We got to celebrate them while they're alive too.
Do
you know?
you guys have like, because like Andy and I grew up in St. Louis, and so like, Andy, does St. Louis have an inferiority complex? Like, no. I mean, it's not Cleveland.
No.
Does Indianapolis have one? This is a great question. Is there a Lance Stevenson mural?
Wow. There should be.
Every city should have a Lance Stevenson mural. That much we agree on. We were just wondering if there is one.
I know there isn't. I think it would be fun to just have him blowing, and then it could be like where influencers go take pictures, like Lance is blowing on them.
That's a great idea, actually.
That
Somebody
actually
should
is
do
not
that.
a terrible idea.
Oh, but anyway, back to the original. But does Indianapolis have they're all Midwestern cities?
Yes, I think any Midwestern city that is not Chicago should have an inferiority complex. Just based on like when I tell people I'm from Indy, they're like, "Oh, it's so clean," like you're searching for things.
Look at this running water and everything.
I like Indianapolis because that nice lady does the home improvement show out of Indianapolis.
That's my friend.
Good Bones. You know Good Bones?
Yes. I was invited to Mina's wedding.
Whoa!
Look at you burying the lead.
Husband since I was like 2.
No way.
Yes.
Can you get us Good Bones?
Wait, do you guys need new bones?
Would love to talk to Good Bones.
Oh yeah, Mina's great. Yeah, I mean, we're both like redheads too. Like we but I forget that she's a celeb and people see her and are like, oh, get so excited. It's really fun.
Oh my I've watched the show. It's entertaining. My wife loves it.
It's a great show. It's one of my favorite of all of them.
Loves it.
I will let her know. She's gonna be thrilled.
Okay. Well,
and her mom.
I know the mom is great too.
God, we get it. The family member. We understand.
The mom, I feel like I've only like met in passing, but Mina, lots of good times. I could text her,
Oh,
don't now because it's like 1 a.m. or something. But
well, I mean, how good a friend?
From watching the show, I know she's got children.
She does. She has a infant now too.
So don't be doing that.
She might be
up. Only one way to find out.
So we were talking. Speaking of reality, we were talking before about Below Deck, and the UNLV starting quarterback Max Gilliam had to issue an apology because there was an episode where he was eating sushi off a nude model during the show, and the statement he read is
as
awesome.
One does.
The statement he put out is awesome. I would like to apologize for my poor judgment while on the TV show Below Deck and acknowledge that I have made a mistake that I will learn from. While it was not my idea, nor any of my friends' ideas to eat sushi off a model, I should have exercised better judgment and declined the idea immediately when it was brought up to the producers.
That's not true. They asked for it on their preference sheet. Okay. So I'm like hearing this story. I'm pissed because when they were on, they never told us that he was the UNLV quarterback. It was always just like these rich kids are coming on. And now this adds such a layer of interest I would have had if we knew, because this kid was like he didn't even look maybe a lacrosse like Division II player. Like it wasn't even a vibe that felt quarterbacky to me.
This is what it's like to be like. I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
Like this is I didn't see this particular. I heard them talking about it because my wife watches tons of Below Deck, and so I heard them talking about it. I didn't realize that this was a thing. Like being a naked sushi model. Like that's something you can be.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can be any kind of naked model you want. That is what
this is America, goddamn.
As long as there are men in this world, they'll accept it many different ways as you want.
Oh yeah. You can find any kind of naked model on Craigslist. But yeah, they brought this woman. They they were on a yacht. They sent a dinghy over, picked her up. Like there were a lot of steps for this lady to be.
It has a name. This it's the Japanese tradition, according to the internet, of niatai mori, the serving of sashimi or sushi from a woman's naked body.
Mm-hmm. It's in a lot of. It was in the Sex and the City movie. Like I feel like I've seen it in a lot of films where they're like making fun of something that's like over the top.
I mean. First of all, I'm old enough to remember when a UNLV athlete would never apologize for something like this. I mean, this was just, run of the course during the Tark era. But I just feel like it's not like he was doing coke off or something like that. Like that would be one of those, I should have exercised better judgment, particularly if you're doing it on below deck. Like it's just a really bad idea altogether.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to. I mean, I don't understand why he had to apologize either.
No,
they got really. They were
probably
really
not a great look for UNLV.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
It feels misogynistic to eat sushi off a naked lady. It does feel a little bit, right?
Yeah, the kid. I just feel like you saw it. These kids were like so immature. Like they were there with their girlfriends too. That it didn't even have a shred of sexuality to it. They were just so.
It doesn't seem hot. Like, I mean, I like sushi, and I certainly have an appreciation for naked women. I don't know if I want to combine those two things.
I wouldn't eat a piece of sushi off my own body.
So I guess if you happen to be eating it, it falls down. Done.
That I would do. Then
that's different. That's not eating it off your back. That's like, Right. But this is a good question. Like, there's pictures of presidents and heads of huge corporations doing it. Why is it a problem? Asks Quinn. I think it's just because, like, it's one of those deals. If you're head of the athletic department, you look at it and you say, I don't know if this is bad, but it probably is, and someone should apologize.
Yeah. Or the head of the athletic department is like, what the fuck? I want to do that. You need to apologize. I need to do it before you.
When you watched it, did you have any idea that he was a UNLV quarterback? Because I've not seen the episode.
No. Did you, Brian? I had no idea.
Well, no.
I just because like the thing is they're always telling the backstory of these people. And I almost think maybe he hid that and then it came out because their whole backstory was like, these are just like rich kids that are coming on, which is, those aren't people you like, it's actually better if it's like, oh, this kid is rich, but at least he can throw.
Like, Nathan Mark points out Jeannie Buss did that basketball photo, which is sort of like nobody ate the basketballs when they were done. Like it's different. That was like for a magazine shoot, and that was pretty controversial at the time, wasn't it, Andy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When Jeannie did that,
yes, it was at the time very controversial.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know either. She did get paid. I remember everyone being really nice to her. She had like coverings. Like she wasn't even nude. We saw her like flesh-colored undies.
Yeah, it was by modern standards, especially. It was hardly a risque moment it was just because that sort of thing. It was a while ago too. I mean, like our standards for these sorts of things, I think, have changed a little bit. Hold on, sorry.
What do you? As long as it was good sushi.
I like how Brian's crossing stuff off. He's like, okay, I guess I'm not going to eat sushi off of a woman.
No, not eating that. No, I just want to make sure, like because I want to make sure we're saving time for the game because Andy worked really hard on it.
I did work. I always work hard on the game, but yeah, I just feel like that's not a big deal. I mean, if anything, like you're getting some publicity during a year where nobody can really figure out what's going on in college football anyway. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Like, I feel like our outrage for something like this is only going to rise so much with everything else going on. It's one of those things, I think if you didn't acknowledge it, whoever had been upset at the moment, it would have gone away. Like, I don't think this was going to become became more of a controversy because you put out the statement. Like, how long ago did this episode air?
Right.
It's a new one. It's still in the rotation.
It aired like a month ago.
Yeah.
We were fans of the show, watched this episode. I was on a Below Deck podcast that week, and I didn't even know he played at UNLV. So it's like, you guys should have just pretended like he didn't. Also, that woman got paid. Like, if we're talking about job creation, that is a job that this woman wanted and got.
According to the story I read, which is a couple years old, you can make up to $100 an hour doing that, and I assume that is not for people on yachts. It's probably higher if you're on yacht.
Yeah. I would hope.
So
$100 minimum.
Feels like also one of those gigs that could be tax free, which is nice right around now. Like that. Yes, exactly. That's
is there a W-2 for sushi model?
No, you are paid in cash and cash only. Like there are no checks.
So Andy and I love Hallmark movies. We love Lifetime movies. We love the names of Hallmark and Lifetime movies. We just in our last podcast played our annual Hallmark movie Christmas game, which we do obviously annually, as I mentioned. That was elegant. Good job, Andy. Possibly the greatest Lifetime movie of all time is coming out Sunday, correct, Andy?
The 12th.
The 12th.
You're calling it the greatest, and it's not even out yet. I mean, it's exciting.
Take a gander at the trailer, and you tell me if you think I'm wrong. It's a film called Recipe for Seduction, and it stars Mario Lopez as Colonel Sanders. Hold on here. I'm again sharing the screen. I'm getting sort of good at this, but it takes a second. A Recipe for Seduction. Here we go.
Sharp knife.
Wow.
No shit. First of all, kudos to Kentucky Fried Chicken for just being this weird. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, it's over Chicken Man, or whatever it is going to become a catchphrase. I think there's no question. I assume when you met your future husband and you went home and talked about him with your parents, you said he has a secret recipe that's going to change the world. I feel like that was part of the attraction.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale of 1 to 10 of amazingness, this is a what, Megan?
I mean, 10, of course. I watched the Mariah Carey Christmas special last night, and that was a 10. Like, I'm all in on just really embracing. Like, that's why they killed it. Like, and exactly what they wanted is what we're doing right now. So it's really like from that aspect, like creatively as like a writer, I'm like, well, let's go, who cares, but also fun. But just as like watching this plan from afar, I'm like, bravo.
No, I mean, it broke the internet. I mean, like everybody was talking about this thing. It's going to be a 15-minute movie,
right?
Lifetime, obviously doing in conjunction with KFC. It's a big marketing thing. It's on the 13th, I guess, is the date. And it's going to be a lead into a different Mario Lopez Lifetime vehicle, Feliz Navidad.
Yeah.
So a nice double bill we got going. Is it me or watching Mario Lopez as Harlan Sanders, the Colonel, in that makeup? I actually think he looks like what Mark Paul Gosselaar would look like in the exact same makeup. I think they're starting to evolve into looking like each other.
They may go to the same doctor. And, that does start to happen. They're yes.
I mean, look at this. Am I wrong, or could that could be Mark Paul Gosselaar?
The mustache is wild. The mustache is.
I kind of feel like he sort of looks like
Mark Paul looks more like Mark Paul Gosselaar. I will say that one makes him look a little bit more.
Like if you put Mark Paul Gosselaar in makeup and blah, 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 I actually think it kind of looks like Mario Lopez there.
Mm-hmm. I'm now wondering, like, did Colonel Sanders have dimples?
I never realized Colonel Sanders was so ripped. I didn't know he went to the gym so often.
The Ringer put out a list of because like the rest of us, it got their attention. 43 pressing questions about a recipe for seduction. One of them that I thought was most interesting was why is Mario Lopez not doing a Southern accent? And then what were the conversations that led to Colonel Sanders not having a Southern accent? Like it's brilliant. They don't even, he's just there.
Yeah. I bet it went a little bit like, we have Mario Lopez, and they were like, yes. And then he can't do a Southern accent. And they were like, we'll make it work. Like they just.
Well, it's like, Brian, it's like what we talked about when Sean Connery passed away. Every movie he's ever in, they just make it work that he's Scottish. Like he played a Russian military officer in the Russia House. He's got a Scottish accent. Yep. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, just.
Well, did you guys watch The Undoing?
I did not.
No.
Okay, so it's Hugh Grant and Nicole Kidman. Hugh Grant is British. Nicole Kidman is something like, it's like you could have just let her have her accent. He has an accent, but they made her be this, like, maybe a woman who studied abroad too long. Like that voice. It's really Kidman is
like when Madonna just decided to become British.
Yeah, but she's not. It's one of those. Dorit on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has one of these international accents, is what they call it. I think
very affected. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I misquoted the. I want to do that. It's Secrets Out, Chicken Man. That's a catchphrase. That's going to become a meme, right?
Oh, we needed this. This film is coming at the perfect time. And it doesn't feel like too Christmassy. It's kind of
not at all.
Palate cleanser. We're having like so much Christmas, and then we're taking a bite of chicken, and then we're going back.
It's another good question. What is the Venn diagram of people who like KFC and people watching Lifetime at noon on a Sunday? There it is. You're the overlap. Are you doing like picture in picture between that and NFL?
No, I'm truly only watching the NFL. My husband told me tonight that one of my skills is I can watch any terrible NFL game.
Did you see today's?
Yes, I watched them all. I'm like, told my parents, I'm like, there's 2 games on. And they're like, okay, Meg, great.
So you'll just sit through it all. It doesn't matter to you.
I'll watch it. I love it. And it's good background, like I was emailing, like sometimes it's just like fun to hear them. And it's one of those things too in 2020 that feels sort of normal and comforting. When they pan out, obviously it's strange, but to just like hear the noises and the commentators and like the commercials that you see, it feels very 2019 to me in a good way.
And the Colts are good.
And the Colts are something.
I can't believe it still amazes me. Before we get to the game, the Colonel Sanders, what's the name of the movie?
Recipe for Seduction.
Recipe for Seduction. It amazes me that Phillip Rivers is coherent enough to play NFL quarterback, considering how many children he has. Yeah. Like I would not be able to function with that many kids, much less play quarterback.
Yeah, I would imagine I don't want, I know he's a Christian, obviously, but I would imagine during the season he's a hands-off father. but maybe that's wrong. Like, I could also see him being like, I don't need sleep, I live off the Lord. And then like
I have 3 kids and I'm a hands-off father now too.
That's a lot on the Lord's shoulders. I got to be honest, man. Like he's got a lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids. 9 kids is a lot of kids.
Him being in San Diego, no, baby. Listen, I didn't want him, and I still don't. But him being in Indianapolis, it just really.
I will say, like every time he throws, it looks like I like Phillip Rivers. First of all, he's supposed to be a really good guy, and I mean, I've talked to him a few times, and he was always very nice. But like the effort, it seems like it takes for him to throw a football now, like
yeah.
When he starts throwing like 6 seconds before T.Y. Hilton breaks out of his cut, like you're like, I have no idea where this ball is going, but he's got to throw it earlier. The ball won't get there.
No, I mean, and Jacoby is playing, they're bringing him in every single game, which
for quarterback sneaks.
Right. And I love him. So I'm so happy to see him, but it really does feel like Philip is over on the sideline, like drinking a glass of Metamucil and then coming back out.
Oh, God,
I'm sure
poor man.
Every time somebody mentions that, I always like to look up Phillip Rivers' rushing statistics.
They're not prolific.
Can you tell me, Megan, let's see if I can pull this up fast enough. Phillip Rivers within, I don't know, 15%, we'll say, his career rushing yards.
Oof. I mean, 150?
That is way too... No, actually, it's higher than that. We'll give him credit. It's higher than that. Do you know how many he has this year?
I would say, well, yeah, maybe like 15?
It's exactly right. He's got 15.
I mean, they were all so painful.
Phillip Rivers has played 16 years in the NFL. He's got 380 rushing yards.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he's just been there so long.
Right, that's not much.
No, that's not a lot for the amount of seasons he's played.
That is not much.
He's not a mobile man as traditionally defined. So this game, obviously we are celebrating Mario Lopez, who will be taking on the role of Colonel Sanders in A Recipe for Seduction, Lifetime, December 13th.
So tired of typecasting.
But there have been a lot of people over the years who have taken on the role of Colonel Sanders, particularly in light of the new campaign where they just have people going in and out. So I've got a game for you guys. It is a quiz trivia about different people who have adopted the persona of Colonel Sanders. Questions about them. I will keep score for you. Brian will answer the first one. Unless I tell you otherwise, you both get an opportunity. There's only one where whoever says their name first, your name is your buzzer, gets the first opportunity to answer. Otherwise, one of you goes first, the other goes second. Okay. We begin with Harlan Sanders himself, who obviously was the first persona of the Colonel after founding KFC. True or false? Harlan Sanders got so into the character of Colonel Sanders, he was never seen in public dressed any other way for the last 20 years of his life until his death in 1980.
How would anybody know?
I'll say true, though. And Megan.
I think it's true. I get to answer too. Okay, sorry.
Yes,
I think it's true as well.
It is true. For the last 20 years of his life, he was never seen in public any way else. He used to bleach his mustache and goatee to match his white hair. Darrell Hammond, SNL cast member and former Colonel Sanders actor, what sport did he play in junior college? Baseball, football, basketball, or wrestling? Megan goes first.
What the hell no?
I'm going to say, God, he is big. I'm going to say baseball.
I'm going to say wrestling.
Baseball is correct, Megan. He was actually a teammate of future World Series champion manager Bruce Bochy. Brian goes next. Norm
Darrell
McDonald.
Hammond is much older than I thought.
Yes. Well, he was he was a good baseball player. Norm McDonald, and this one, Oh God, I screwed this up. Forget it. Norm Macdonald was your name is your buzzer. We move along.
Brian, Norm Macdonald.
Okay, next one. My apologies. What name does WWE wrestler Dolph Ziggler perform under? Goldberg, Roman Reigns, Bo Dallas, or Dolph Ziggler is the stage name? Brian goes first.
What does this have to do with Colonel Sanders?
He's one of the Colonel Sanders guys. All these people have played Colonel Sanders.
I'll say Goldberg.
Megan.
I'm going to say Dolph Ziggler is the stage name.
Dolph Ziggler is the stage name, Megan. His real name is Nicholas Nemeth.
Yes, I have worked with him. He's a very nice man. That's why I was like, oh shit.
Explains a lot why he goes by Dolph Ziggler when you know
the next three questions are all about good bones. So right.
Next one, Rob Riggle.
More low-key flexing, by the way.
Thank you. That's why I was ashamed. I was like, I don't want to. I mean, listen, we have a photo.
Okay.
I'll send it to you guys.
It's okay.
Yes, you are more famous and know more people than we do. We get it.
Can you get Dolph Ziggler's mom on the phone too? Right. Rob Riggle, comedian. True story.
Megan probably knows.
He joined the Marines in 1990, but eventually left flight school to pursue a comedy career. But he was, though, a member of the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve and a public affairs officer with a New York City-based unit. Served in 3 of the 4 following countries. Which one was he not in? Albania, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Kosovo. Megan goes first.
Afghanistan.
Brian.
The obvious answer here should be Albania, because when has anybody served in Albania? But I'm going to go back and say Kosovo.
No, you're both wrong. The answer is Kuwait. He was in Albania, Afghanistan, and Kosovo. He got 12 medals over 23 years of service. So Rob Riggle was pretty impressive. Thank you for your service. Rob Lowe.
What was happening in Albania?
I don't know. I have no idea. But
a refugee crisis. Like I felt like,
you know what?
When I heard Kosovo, we did a penny war for, and I've always been like, did we solve that? I did my middle school in central Indiana that sent $212 to Kosovo. Get that all?
I suspect that, yes.
Yeah.
You know what, Megan? Thank you for your service as well.
You're welcome.
All right. Rob Lowe, another Colonel Sanders actor in the campaign, the handsome Rob Pelinka lookalike actor. He has had several Golden Globe, Emmy, and SAG Award nominations, a lot for his work on The West Wing, but he has also garnered 1 Razzie Award win. For which movie was it? Frank and Jesse, St. Elmo's Fire, Tommy Boy, or About Last Night? Brian goes first.
Ooh.
Frank and Jesse, St. Elmo's Fire, Tommy Boy, or About Last Night? What did he get?
Giving Razzies for St. Elmo at that point?
Not a trick question. Razzies existed for all of these.
Okay. I'll say St. Elmo's Fire.
Megan.
To me, it's the first or the last one. So I'm going to say About Last Night.
Oh, it's St. Elmo's Fire. And by the way, that's bullshit.
I agree.
The man is fantastic as Billy Hicks.
I thought that was considered a good movie.
Well, it's not, but I love it. I love
it's St. not Elmo's considered a good movie, and nor should it be, but I love it anyway.
I love St. Elmo's Fire. Ray Liotta, another Colonel Sanders. Which movie did he admit on the record that he only did for the money? Wild Hogs, where he was a bad guy in a movie where John Travolta, Martin Lawrence, Tim Allen, and William H. Macy play suburban wannabe bikers. Turbulence, where he played a serial killer that takes over a prison transport plane. Basically, it's Con Air, but nobody cared. Operation Dumbo Drop, where he and a couple other soldiers deliver a live elephant to a village from the Vietnam War. Or Muppets from Space, which is Muppets from Space. Megan goes first.
I'm going to say, Dumbo Drop has a message. What was the first one? Right? They're like giving it to...
It's basically a way to, I guess, smooth over some issues or to make good on a promise to a village in Vietnam. Wild Hogs.
That's his friends. I'm going to say Dumbo Drop.
Brian.
I feel like that's the correct answer.
It is the correct answer. Operation Dumbo Drop, he only did for the money, which is the only reason to have done that movie. Reba McEntire, who was also a Colonel Sanders, according to Wikipedia, ranks 36th on the top 100 for certified music artists. That's based on certification of albums and digital singles. How many units does that mean she's moved? Over, under 40 million. Brian goes first.
I think Reba's moved over 40 million.
Over.
You are both correct. It is over. She has sold a lot.
They don't give TV shows to just anybody.
41 million. So Megan is up 5-4, but luckily for Brian, totally random. The last question is worth 2 points. So Brian has the opportunity to win, and this is going to be about Mario Lopez, the latest Colonel Sanders. Which 2015 sequel did Mario Lopez get a special thanks credit for, according to IMDb? Furious 7, Insidious Chapter 3, Pitch Perfect 2, or Hotel Transylvania 2? Brian goes first.
I'm going to say Pitch Perfect 2.
I was going to say that too.
Well, you're in the lead. You can do whatever you want.
I think it is that.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Megan, you have won today's game of Colonel Sanders trivia. He got a special credit in Pitch Perfect 2. Tight race, but Megan comes out on top.
Congratulations.
You win nothing. Other than this honor.
Happy I am. I didn't even need anything. I felt like I feel on top of the world. I knew it. When you said Reba, some people forget Reba. I remember Reba.
So again, even the late tuners in. Hey, yeah. Joey Jojo, is that a Pizza Hut cup?
I hope, if nothing else, we get you a Pizza Hut sponsorship. If we don't, it's only because Brian criticized him in the beginning. It's the only reason.
You guys want to hear? You guys really want me to toot my own horn? Look who sent me merch.
Oh, whoa.
King's Hawaiian. I didn't even. They found me. They came to me. I said, "Yes, I will. Please send it to me."
That's not.
What did they ask you to do, or they just sent you? Like, what comes in a King's Hawaiian merch box?
Oh my god, the King's Hawaiian merch box. I got sunglasses over here, lots of stickers, the bread. This. They wrote me. The King wrote me a letter.
What does the royal signature look like?
It's just a bun. You know, it's like a bun.
Nice.
You keep you keep burying the lead.
Do you have the King in your phone now?
No, I don't have the King in my phone, but that's only because the King does not have a phone. I can call his assistant and they'll get me the King.
All right. Remind everybody, when does the comedy special come out of the vault?
So it is going. Quinn, I'm sorry. I know. I had even my biggest flex of all. I didn't even say. I can't say it, but
no, you can't do that.
Well, I wrote a show, and they were trying to make it, and they tried to get Reba to play my mom.
Really? Oh wow!
Why? Like, no, I mean, no disrespect. Like, what about your mom was somebody that Reba McEntire needed to play?
Well, it was like the show was about my life, and so like my mom was a character in it.
Oh, God,
yeah. And you know, she had a hit sitcom. I don't even want to say she said no, because I don't want to put that on Reba. I don't even know if she took the offer. You know what I mean? Like it may have not even gotten in the.
And then you would have had Reba McEntire in your phone.
I know. No, I think about it. I didn't write her a letter, but I wrote someone else a letter, and they said no too.
Oh well.
And that is why King Hawaiian has not played my mother in a TV show.
That's why I'm so loyal. Okay, you give me anything, and I'll hawk your merch. shows that it doesn't even bring me anything. Okay. The special is being released from the vault, like Lion King, and put on YouTube for free. You do not need cable for I think a month starting December 14th.
Okay, so be on the lookout for that, people. That's coming out next week. You've got the Megan Gailey Bubble Machine, and that can be found on YouTube.
On my YouTube page.
A lot of sports talk on there, a lot of Laker and Dodger talk. So it's definitely for our audience.
Champions.
Yes, indeed. You've actually you were excited for the Dodgers too, so you've had a good couple months.
I cried like Dwight Freeney was in the hallway.
Right, except you cry. We haven't gotten the impression you cried everything. So every time something good happens to anybody, you cry.
I love seeing their dreams come true. It's so exciting.
Miles Turner wanted to lose that weight so badly, and then he did it. He did it.
All he had to do was grow to be 6'11", and it just melted away.
Well, the thing is, you almost look at him and you go, I see a former fat kid in there. I do.
He's the Jerry O'Connell of sports.
It explains why he took school so seriously. He was a really good student, Miles Turner.
I love that.
I love everything about it.
That, by the way, was my weight loss plan when I was in middle school, and it did not work as effectively. Tomorrow night, Scott Feinberg, we're going to talk Hollywood. There's a lot going on there. Scott Feinberg from Hollywood Reporter, Darius Soriano on Wednesday. Get back into Lakers and the NBA. Thursday, we have a really cool interview with Bernardo Ruiz, the documentary filmmaker, about his new 30 for 30. So we'll have that for you on 30. It is really good. I watched it today.
It's very good.
It's excellent. What was the question?
Which 30 for 30 did he do?
It's a new one.
Oh, who's it about?
Oh,
what's it called, Andy?
It's called The Infinite Race. It's not about anybody you would know. Okay. It's about ultra marathon running in this remote part of Mexico, like through really insane terrain, and how basically this small, I don't know if you'd call it a village or a community in Mexico, was kind of taken over by initially a guy who wanted to let people become more aware of this race. And then it started to become more known, and you have people descending upon it, essentially trying to commercialize it, even with some good intentions. But in the meantime, you've got cartels all over the place. There's a lot of questions about, the I guess sort of the fine line between appreciation for a culture versus just making it into a commodity. It's really, really good. Really it's called The Infinite Race. It's going to be on ESPN December 15th. So we're going to be talking with the director about that.
Special. Then you watch that. I mean, that's 2 nights.
We cover a lot of ground.
That's 2 nights you have planned next week.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks again to Megan. I got Obama on speed dial. Gailey for coming on. Catch her Comedy Central special on YouTube next week. Thanks again. This was fun.
Thank you.
I will talk to everybody soon.
Danke, Nederland.